Good morning, everyone. It's Victoria Lorien Fabish. Welcome to Courageous Conversations. I just want to move this a tiny bit here. Wow, 3 days in a row, beautiful sunshine in Toronto. Good morning, sunshine. I'm so happy when the sun is shining. I'm such a good weather type of a person. So I wanted to talk a little bit about emotional bypass. So let me just, spiritual and emotional bypassing. I'm just going to do a little bit of sharing because I feel that it would be really nice to have everyone on the journey with us. So if you're around, come on down and be with us on this journey to understand what emotional bypassing and spiritual bypassing. Hi, Gina. Hi, Andrew. Nice to see folks coming on. I'm just going to do a little bit of sharing as I would love to be able to proliferate this information as much as possible. Hi, Rick. This is a big thing because I feel like in today's world, it's not talked about as much. In the 80s, people talked about it quite a bit. And this was sort of the kind of thing that was spoken about as, certainly by as psychotherapists like myself, but definitely this one gentleman in the 80s, John Wellwood, who was a Buddhist teacher and a psychotherapist. And he really coined the phrase emotional bypassing or spiritual bypassing. So I want to talk about it because I feel like there is a tendency to spiritually and emotionally bypass what we truly are feeling. And I see that as a recipe, and what I see in the office really a lot is repetition of feelings. It's almost like the body or the mind or the spirit or all three are attempting to converse with you so in louder and louder fashion so that you listen, so that you actually resolve your issues. Hi, everyone that's coming on. Lori and Denise, nice to see everybody. So the thing about this is that the great news about this is that you're in charge of healing this aspect of you. Now, let me be clear. If you've had a tough childhood, and I the reason I do this is because a lot of us have. If you've had a traumatic, emotional childhood, you did whatever you could to survive. You did whatever you could. You didn't sweat the small stuff. You didn't snivel. You didn't feel. You kind of like one of the big ones is over-intellectualizing what's going on. Almost like becoming the psychotherapist of the family really early on. And really early on going, oh, the reason my mother's like this is because of this and this and this, or the reason my father's like this, or the reason my siblings are like this is because of all of these things. And the thing is that worked. That worked as a kid. That worked to get you through it. But it does not work in your life now. Because what happens is the body will, especially because it comes from trauma, will repeat the issue over and over in a bid to understand it, in a bid to resolve it. Even repeating similar relationships, similar patterns. It's all for us to understand what it's all about and also to understand how we can resolve it. And also it's quite trendy in the coaching world to sort of not cry in your soup, so to speak, get on with it, move on from it. Or spiritual, getting a spiritual understanding and explanation for what's going on. And I am a holistic psychotherapist. I am very spiritual. And by the way, I've done my fair share of emotional bypassing. Let me tell you, I've absolutely done my fair share of that. And the reason I'm here to tell you is I see so many of my clients who've done their fair share. High-functioning people will do emotional and spiritual bypassing and explain things away. I want to just say that blessed are the kids that have tantrums, even though they're hard to be around. These are kids that are not spiritually or emotionally bypassing. They're freaking feeling it. They're like, I don't like being treated this way. I don't like what's going on, and I'm telling you. I know that was rather loud, sorry. But you know what I mean? It's an incredibly powerful concept when you watch a kid having an emotional reaction to something, as hard as it is to and embarrassing if it's happening in public, they're expressing their emotional truth in that moment. And so there's something very precious about that, not to shut down. At the same time, you know, it's not about a child sort of narcissistically taking over a moment either, but getting them to the place where they can feel the emotion, feel the experience, and then have a good dialogue with them about what they were feeling and what it was, so that it's a complete process. So they go, oh, what was happening for me was this, and I was feeling like it wasn't, you weren't, treating me well, and whatever it may be. So that there's this full circle of feeling it, understanding it, feeling it, processing it, understanding it, and then resolving it. We don't do that. How often do we feel something and then we'll bring it up with a friend or a family member, and that'll create a rift. So there's trauma, and so that becomes extreme low motivation to actually, process truly your emotional experience on something. And so I would love people to be setting up friendships and relationships and emotional partnerships in which there is a rules of engagement, that we don't bypass our feelings. We don't overly spiritually rationalize our feelings. And we also don't just go past the feelings, because here's what's going to happen. It happens every day in my office. Anyone who has spiritually or emotionally bypassed their true emotions of their traumatic or difficult childhoods, what I can guarantee you is they are today in their adulthood, 20 years later, processing that very stuff, And if you're crying today about what happened in your childhood, as I have done, and I do sometimes, it's because that thing was not emotionally processed appropriately. It was bypassed. And just recently, I was thinking about some stuff in my childhood, and I'm like, wow, I didn't process. There was no forum for me to actually process that thing. I had to just suck it up, Buttercup. Just don't feel. Just accept what was being dished out, even if it felt unfair or felt abusive or felt whatever it was, insulting, criticizing, whatever. And so I realized that, there is a ton of just autopilot, spiritual and emotional. For me, it wasn't spiritual bypass because I didn't understand things. Well, yes, I went to Catholic school. I'm half Catholic, half Jewish, so we did go to Catholic school, and so there's spiritual understanding of what might be happening. And the other thing is forgiving too quickly. Again, forgiveness is so essential, but people go so quickly into forgiveness that they don't even feel what they're feeling. They want to get to the forgiveness. They want to get to the resolution. They want to get to the resolve it and put it in a package. The problem is that if you do that too quickly, I promise you, it will show up again like a bad burp. It'll show up again. And then that will cause you to have to go through it from scratch. So what I'm recommending is set aside time to nurse the old hurts, to feel it, and then see yourself as, what I tell people every day is see yourself as a screen door, inviting your feelings to come on the scene. And what's happening is you say, emotions, show up to be released. Don't show up to just torture me. Show up to be released. Let that come through and let it go through me and let it process fully. And people are afraid of pain. I got news for you. There is richness in the pain. There is richness in the pain. There is something rich in that pain for you to learn, grow, process, get past it, so that it's not bypassed, it's felt fully, and lean into it, feel it fully. And I know people are afraid of that, but I'm here to tell you that if you courageously troubleshoot the self and feel the feelings fully, you will resolve them, and then they will go away forever. And that is the lesson of today. Stop emotional bypassing. Stop spiritual bypassing. Allow yourself the luxury of feeling your emotions fully, of dealing with the issues fully, so that you can resolve them and move on and no longer have that as an issue. And that's a guarantee that if you deal with it fully, you will not have to repeat, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. It'll be over. And that's why truly That's why I say we're not just talking heads, blah, blah, blah about stuff. The talking about it doesn't resolve it sometimes. No, no, no. Blah, 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 chat, chat, chat sometimes drives the emotions deeper and into the subconscious because we're over-intellectualizing. Feel it. Close your eyes and feel it. Deeply feel the emotions. Feel the pain. Feel the anger. Feel the sadness. Feel the despair. Feel it so that you can release it. Don't feel it so that you can wallow in it. Feel it with the intention. I call it intentional grieving, intentional feeling, intentional processing, with the intention to resolve it, to let it go, to move past it. Not rushing it, but just saying to yourself, I'm feeling this. I'm giving myself the opportunity to feel this fully so that I can actually let go of it. And that's really powerful. I recommend that you consider this as a tool, as a precious tool that will help you to no longer be at the mercy of your repeat feelings. And for women that have PMS and perimenopausal and menopausal symptoms and lots of emotions, capitalize on those emotions. Feel your feelings deeply. Use it as an important time. And for the men who want to explore their feminine side and want to let go of their pasts, want to stop over-intellectualizing what it was that they were, experienced as a child, because that's what men will do. Men will intellectualize what they saw and felt and experienced as a kid. And then they will just, and that's what I call the seeds of the toxic masculine, The toxic masculine is all of that emotional bypassing and going past what was going on with them. They were bullied by possibly their own father or other men, or even women, certainly women and men, bullying. And then the boys will just, stiff upper lip, boys don't cry, this kind of thing. And then that will be the seeds of toxic masculinity. And so today I want to give you all permission, please. Not that you need my permission, but if you did need permission in some weird part of you, I just want to say, here's the permission to feel, and to feel it fully, and to really allow yourself to not bypass what actually is the feeling state within you, and heal the toxic feminine and the toxic masculine. Heal that part of you. Don't emotionally bypass or spiritually and overly intellectualize and overly spiritually find reasons for things. Feel it fully. Go to the reasons of the spiritual reasons, etc., but feel it fully first. And that's my message for you today. And I hope this was helpful. And listen to it over and over, and also proliferate it, because you are important and your emotions matter. This was Courageous Conversations. I will be coming at you again tomorrow with another Courageous Conversation. So work on stopping the spiritual and emotional bypass of your feelings. Resolve them by feeling them. Have a blessed, beautiful, sunny day in Toronto and all over the world. Bye for now.